for the Kansas African. Let's call to order the monthly meeting for the Kansas African American Affairs Commission for this Friday, May 15th. We'll go ahead and do our roll call. Could you go ahead, Executive Director Nell?
Sorry, I'm keeping myself on mute a lot because they're doing construction in the floor above me. So although it's been said that you guys can't hear it as much, I'm still going to try to stay on mute as much as possible. All right. Commissioner Crystal Davis.
Present.
Commissioner Trent Davis.
Present.
Commissioner Jade Ramsdell.
Present.
And Chair Angelin Johnson.
Present. Okay, thank you. Let's move forward the approval of the minutes. Those were sent out to us in advance. Are there any edits, updates, requests for any changes to the minutes? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve the minutes. Yeah.
See a motion by Commissioner Trent Davis, a second by Commissioner Crystal Davis. Ready for the question? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, minutes approved. I want to give a heads up that there is a slight adjustment to the schedule due to Commissioner Jade Ramsdell, we know, has a pending engagement. So there is a slight shift with the order of business, but we'll continue to move forward now with our public comment period. I do see Miss Wendell Kamori with us. Good morning, Wendell.
Good morning, Angelin. How are you all?
I am well. Stacy, is Wendell here for public comment, or is she a part of one of our other business items?
Right. I mean, she is just sort of touching base with all of the past. As a part of the Voter Network, they're going back and touching base with all of the past teams. And since we had a team last year, she touched base with me, and I was like, oh gosh, well, we have a meeting tomorrow if you want to touch base, because the question is, do we want to continue with the team, or do we not want to continue with the team? And I didn't know because I hadn't asked y'all. So I wasn't sure because she can sort of do her little, this is what's going on with Voter Network, because she does have a little small, this is what's going on with Voter Network. But then it also might potentially be a new business item in terms of, do we want to proceed with the KAAC team again in this election cycle like we did last election cycle?
Okay, so that being the case, we'll move Wendell to a new item D date, and we'll save that, and hopefully we can get to that new business before Commissioner Ramsdell needs to head off.
Hey, just heads up, my meeting was pushed back 30 minutes, so I do have a bit more time than I initially had slotted. So just wanted to voice that over.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Ramsdell. Okay, we will transition now to our new, I don't see any other guests with us, so we'll transition to new business. Item A, commission elections at June meeting for a chair. This has been updated. I must be an older one. So for a chair and vice chair / secretary, again, per our bylaws, every June meeting, we host elections, and per our bylaws, there are two positions that are voted on, that being the position of chair and the position of co-chair / secretary. So please keep that in mind as we prepare to enter into our 2026-2027 program year. If you are interested in any of the positions, please be prepared to share that interest. If you want to nominate someone for a position, please communicate with them and let them know, give them a heads up, and make sure that they are interested. And let's get let's prepare for 2026-2027, hoping to see the commission and membership continue to engage in leadership within the commission, and looking forward to seeing who our next 2026-2027 chair and vice chair will be. Any questions, thoughts, anything for the good of item number A, or letter A? Okay, Letter B, our 2026-2027 meeting schedule. Wanted to check in with the commissioners to see how you all are feeling about the current meeting schedule. In addition, as we prepare to transition into 2026-2027, wanted to check in to see commissioner willingness and interest in having an in-person meeting. Last year, I believe we met in person in August. I found that to be beneficial because it's nice to see you all live and in person versus in our little Zoom screens. But wanted to touch base on determining and maybe the actual determination, Stacey, as I'm thinking about it, for the meeting schedule might be appropriate when we have the new chair and co-chair. Um, when that's decided next month to have actually decide what the meeting cadence will be. But I did want to just touch base to have that conversation, plant that seed of consideration in everyone's minds, and also to put a heads up for a potential in-person meeting in August. Are there any thoughts or feedback to that? Commissioner Trent Davis.
Yeah, thank you. Just my own very personal reasons. Uh, in August, I would have to zoom out just because I'm going to be out of Kansas. That would I'm trying to figure out the day of the month that would be, but my brain is not working fast enough to do that.
Okay,
But
thank you for sharing that. I said August, it doesn't have to be August. I guess more so just an opportunity for an in-person meeting, especially considering we will have another commissioner joining us that has been appointed in July. It would be nice to meet our fellow commissioner live and in person, not too far into his newly appointed tenure on the commission. But we can have further conversation. Just wanted to plant that seed for consideration today. Moving on to item C, Kansas Health Foundation funding opportunities. So the Kansas Health Foundation recently announced a number, actually 4 funding opportunities for organizations in the state of Kansas, specifically with a focus on economic mobility. That is going to be the Kansas Health Foundation's focus moving forward for a number of years. And in seeing and hearing more about, and I'm trying to find the link to be able to share with you all, hearing more about what they're looking at. There's a link and a connection to the work that we've talked about. We want to be able to engage in to advance what the purpose and mission of KAAC is. And it's possible we may be able to, we absolutely can apply for some of these funds to advance some of the work that we have talked about. Some of the work that we've talked about, such as the State of Black Kansas report that came up, was a major topic of discussion, that there was a lot of interest, and I believe amongst the commissioners, a shared interest in seeing the value of having an dated State of Black Kansas report. However, we realize the realities of some limitations of the commission in being able to actually implement that, limitations being staffing, funding, and the type of expertise needed to be able to craft a document like that. I wanted to raise and share the funding opportunities available through the Kansas Health Foundation, because it could be, and let me back up. And then we as a commission elected not to move forward with trying to advance the creation of a State of Black Kansas report at this time. Now, going to the opportunity that the Kansas Health Foundation may have, that may be an opportunity to be able to move forward with the creation of a State of Black Kansas report, um, under the framing of how the Kansas Health Foundation is deploying their funds and their focus. Wanted to again share that with the commission. I'm going to put the link to the resource. I meant to have that available already. I need to find it, but I'll put the link to that resource in the chat, and would like the commission to consider submitting an application. An idea, again, is for support on moving forward, or even exploring the possibility of how we could shape and frame and move forward a State of Black Kansas report. There's a kind of a mini grant, a $5,000 mini grant that can meet that objective, all the way to to $200,000 for a full-fledged exercise, multi-year exercise of being able to create this report, do the research, and disseminate to the public. I'll pause there for any thoughts and also to find the link to share with you all. Is there any thoughts or feedback on that possibility?
Commissioner Trent Davis, I think it's a fantastic idea. Uh, if they're willing and we have the need, see if we can get them matched up.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Trent Davis.
This is Commissioner Crystal Davis, and I guess as the one who really sparked the idea after reading the 2013 State of That Kansas report upon, being, I guess, commissioned to do work with KAAC, I definitely have interest in what that would look like. Thank you.
Okay. I have found the information. I believe the links, I think the links came through in the chat as well. So again, there are 4 opportunities. The innovation grant is the mini grant that I mentioned for $5,000, which gives entities an opportunity to explore ways to tackle complex problems. The transformation grant is between 100,000 to 500,000. Actually, so that's higher than what I thought. I thought it was capped at 200. That's the one I'm thinking for the big picture, full-fledged plan forward on how to have a very large scale, well-researched effort to understand the state of Black Kansas. The mass action grants as well could be an opportunity. We would not be eligible for the impact investment based on the framing for that. So Dr. Crystal Davis, yes, and if I recall correctly, that was one of the first things that you did upon joining the commission was sharing a proposal about moving forward on the State of Black Kansas report. Would you be able to take a look at these opportunities and see if you see connection and alignment, and then let us know? I know there are due dates that are not far away. I think one may be June, I think July and September, if I recall correctly. So Commissioner Crystal Davis, if you are able and willing, if you could take a look at that and let us know as soon as possible what makes sense to you for us to consider.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Any other thoughts or feedback? Okay.
See,
Thank
sorry, Chair. Sorry,
yes.
do you happen to know what the cost was, or Executive Director, what monies were spent in 2013, or the time over which that report was generated?
I
Just
defer
out of
to Director
curiosity.
Bell. I don't know if we, Executive Director Nell, do you have any idea or have you seen any records about the costs for the last report?
The simple answer is I don't know how much it cost. I do know that it was done internally because at that time KAAC had 3 researchers on staff. So I don't know if that's necessarily a cost, but they were like, does that make sense? Like there were paid staff who all were researchers. And I know one person was specifically hired kind of like as an administrative assistant, but the person was hired because they were a researcher. And I do know that in talking with that person, that's what they worked on full time for 2 years.
Oh, so we would have to take that into account as far as cost or the amount of money we would be applying for then. Okay.
Yeah, I think a part of the application process, just in having written grants, is we would need to frame, well, generally, what do we want to do, and what do we anticipate would be the staffing hours needed, the contractors that would be needed. For example, we'll need data analysts, we'll need people who can do research, we'll need writers. So that would be a part of the grant application, us having done that due diligence to get an estimate of what we're expecting this would cost us. And I know Commissioner Davis does grants, so she has experience in that. I can work with her and support and assist as well, to be able to flesh out what it can potentially cost. And I also want to share, even though this is, we framed it as an update to the State of Black Kansas report, it doesn't mean it has to be the same format, same layout, same approach. Um, it will have the same intention to give an update on the State of Black Kansas, but it may look very different in how it's delivered and what it can look like. So that'd be a part of what we explore as far as what it can look like for us in this 2026, 2027 reiteration or re-envisioning of it. Any other thoughts or questions or feedback? Okay, let's move on to our executive director update.
Do you want to have, since we're still in new business, do you want to have window talk?
I'm going off the paper, but we did add D. Ms. Wendell Kamori, welcome again, and we are looking forward to hearing updates on the voter network and what's happening now.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I just had a meeting with Stacy yesterday, and I kind of told her similar feel feel about how since we're kind of starting up our like other summer outreach initiatives and trying to, get people in, especially with the constitutional amendment happening, that we really want to push turnout for, I mean, elections as always, but I wanted to specifically see two things. Number one, we do have a meeting for targeted towards team leaders, but really anyone who wants to just increase their participation next Thursday. It will be from, and you may have gotten it if you've made a voter to voter account, then you may have like gotten the email, but it'll be from 6 to 7 p.m. and it's a postcard writing party. We are going to be sending out stationery for team leaders to write reminders, and then the postcards that we have those like timelines and dates and everything. And so they also were working on within our like legal limitations, how we want to go about messaging for the constitutional amendment, because we are, just trying to be diligent about that. And so we share more information about that on the call next week. So there's that invitation, and I can send the link to RSVP for it. But then I guess the broader question is how we might want to continue or maybe revitalize, rework the ways that we used the voter to voter program last year. I know we had the Black leadership brunches, and so that was a consistent outreach, and we had the different meetings and promoted the tool. Some people used it, some people didn't. But yeah, I guess kind of like what I wanted to gauge people's thoughts on that and see what how we might be able to collaborate between here and the August and November, really, for the elections.
Thank you, Wendell. I look to the commissioners for feedback or thoughts.
Commissioner Ansdell here. I think that after having some pretty detailed discussion surrounding some of the outcomes that we got from this last effort, and given having some pretty significant elections happening this year, I would be supportive of having another team. I think that we might, as a team, better define like what it is we're seeking to do, or like outline a specific goal that we'd like to accomplish. I think that would help. But we talked recently about some of the data that came from the effort just by peer-to-peer, organizing. So I think that it's something that proved fruitful and definitely speaks to the efforts and the strategies that we've aligned as KAAC. So I would be supportive.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Other people thoughts, feelings, opinions, or even different ways we go about it. Are you all doing the brunch, the lunches this year or this summer? Okay, so how we might go about kind of reaching out to people, and I think that's something that we would then decide, I guess, depending on, yeah, I'd have to just like figure that out. But yes, Angela, looks like you're about to say something.
Yeah, I just want to, do a deeper dive conversation with the commissioners because what can make this successful is our engagement and participation with it. And I know as Commissioner Ramsdale shared, and I know as Executive Director Nell has shared, we had a team, and we had some members that participated, but when you look at the big picture, we've even touted some numbers and some successes as far as how our team performed and actually went out and voted compared to the state average. But that was a low number compared to the state average. I mean, if we had one person that we signed up on our team and that one person voted, then we would have 100% success rate. But it was one person, so we have to also be mindful of really pushing the effort and really getting more, building the team stronger and getting more people connected and engaged, so that those percentages have real meaning. If we had, I think, I don't remember the exact numbers. I don't want to throw out numbers that are accurate. But in order for us to really be able to tout success, we have to really have a substantial number of participants and engagement, both from our team, the commissioners' engagement, and our team members that we sign up, their engagement of actually getting people into the system so that we can see how they're responding, if they're responding. So I do want to put that out there, as Window has and the Voter Network has been a wonderful partner and resource for the commission in pushing out our voted on area of focus of engagement. But there's more that I feel we can and should be doing too, to really push and give credibility to what we're saying we're doing and how we're doing it. So I wanted to do a pause to really check in as we're talking about possibly continuing this for another year. Just really, how ready are we to commit to really advancing and pushing the effort, so that as we're talking about our engagement, it's with a stronger evidence of engagement.
This is Commissioner Trent Davis here. I guess the time that it takes for me to do one-on-one calls was not as available as I thought it was going to be. And I guess if I could push this to other organizations, kind of like the Amway method, just keep spreading it out and helping other people set it up in their group and spreading out the actual one-on-one work. We're all busy, or we wouldn't be the type of people who'd be on this meeting to begin with. But it was the time commitment got to be something that I kind of failed on the last time around.
Okay, and did you feel like it was the within your like individual capacity of like underestimating, because like the amount of time, because I think that maybe then we can focus on because it shouldn't really be like an extreme thing. The idea is like you're reaching out to people who you already see, and it's just that like effort of, okay, like, oh, when I see this person, we're gonna remind them. So is it like we maybe didn't do a good enough job communicating that, like kind of the ways to go about it, or is that just kind of okay, I had a busy point in my life and I wasn't able to prioritize this?
Yeah, more the latter. That busy point became a busy, huge area, and it's see the folks, but oh yeah, I'm supposed to remind them on that, and just didn't. I would need some way of getting reminders front and center in my attention span, so that I would make sure folks were registered and turning out to vote. It'd be nice if I could do it on a broader scale than one-on-one, but all that does really is shift the work down to somebody else. But
I
it's a great program. I just didn't have things organized enough to really follow up on it.
Okay. And Dr. Chris, I see you unmuted.
Crystal, Commissioner Crystal Davis. I definitely personally would commit to a greater level of work. So, like, I did go in, I did sign up, I did remind people, I did send out a few texts. I pushed out some stuff on my social media. Thank you, Window, for supporting those posts. And so I think, yeah, I definitely could do more. I mean, I did some things, but I think, as a team, I could be further engaged. One thing that was a little like whatever to me is like, for instance, on the 20 or so people that I had on there, I know their voting record. Like, for instance, my son, I know he's voted and everything because we go together, but it didn't reflect that. And it didn't reflect that I voted. And so that was one thing I'm like, that's all right. We voted in everything. So that should be reflected. So then I think maybe I'll talk to Executive Director Nell or someone and understanding at that time that it would take some time, I guess, to update in the system, or something like that. And again, I did not go back and check that. So um I just saying that to say I definitely would love to see that reflected, particularly when we do the work and for me personally, my son and his friends who I've like picked up. We went to get a smoothie, we went to vote, we talked about it, help them engage in voting, like especially around the young people and some of the elderly in town where I've helped do their voting, like some folks at the nursing home with their ballots, and like picking up my aunt and some and ladies that are 70 plus, getting them to the, so I guess I do a little bit. I don't know if it's enough, but I try to do a little bit around that, and probably could do more with this team. I'm still going to do my personal stuff, like in Junction City, take my people there, all the things that I can do to help, and social media. But I think with this team, yeah, I could, it seems like there's some interest and I could beef that up to the next level. So thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you,
for that
Commissioner
feedback.
Davis, for that acknowledgement too. And I know, and I had some conversation with some of the team from Voter Network with that same observation, knowing that for myself, I had voted, but it had not been reflected. So, Wendell, I'll look to you to communicate that concern, because that also carries over into, we want to ensure that data is properly being connected and put into something that we're adding additional data to and connecting our network to. So there seems to be a bit of a disconnect, or a much longer than thought or comfortable delay in update to information. So if we can get clarity on that, or share that there may be an issue with some of the reports, dates to the reports, voting records, that would be helpful.
Okay,
Before
awesome.
I, oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
I
No, go
was
ahead.
gonna say I've written those concerns. In terms of, I don't know too much about like how like we match the files, but I do know that especially like because last year we had the big like RCT push that we were doing where we were also doing that like randomized control trial. I don't know if it was because, and I like haven't worked here long enough to like have a baseline for how long it usually takes. But like I noticed it in my teams as well, where I'm like, okay, this is like this person has like voted, but the file just isn't matched up. I don't know if it's a matter of like our people who like work on the system, or if it's like a bug thing, or if it's a matter of like we're not getting the information from the elections offices. But I will be sure to follow up with that and see how we might be able to improve that thing for this year.
Okay, thank you. Any other thoughts or feedback for Window or questions? So what I'm Executive Director now.
Hi, Executive Director Nell. Um, I think there's great value in having a team, a voter a reach out team, and doing peer organizing, because I really think that's one of the strongest ways to get to people. It kind of is like that Amway model that Dr. Trent was talking about. Um, and so I think perhaps maybe being more strategic in who we put on the team. Like, for example, I have a personal team, And so my work went into the front end of it, of trying to figure out who were low propensity voter people. So I didn't put anyone on the team who were fours except my husband and my mom to sort of to be a control, like did they actually vote? But everyone else on my team were zeros, ones, and twos. So these are people who were not voters. And I specifically built a team of people who were not voters. If I looked up somebody and they were a four, I didn't put them on the team. So my first year I did it, it was only 17 people, but these were 17 people who had not voted before. And so the fact that 15 of those people voted, yeah, we could say that that's only 15 people, but I mean, that is a huge gargantuan success because those are 15 people who have not voted before. Yeah, if I had put a bunch of people who were already voters on my team, what's the big deal? I would have 100% participation. To your point, what does 100% participation mean? If I stack my team with a bunch of people who vote, it means nothing. But I stacked my team with a bunch of people who didn't vote. And so if I have a 90% participation, if I stacked my team with a bunch of people who didn't vote and I had a 20% participation, I'm like, those people were not going to vote except for me reaching out to them. So I think perhaps maybe another way to do it is to be strategic in terms of who is on the team. Because that way, even if we only have 20 people, but those 20 people are zeros, like if their score is zero and we get those 22 people to vote, I personally would count that as a success because those people were not going to vote if we had not reached out to them. I guess that's the way I sort of view it. And having sat through multiple voter network and sort of I see the model that maybe that's a more strategic way to approach it. Um, I think because I know the statewide turnout percentage window, you might back me up, might have been close to 20%. So even though our team had 44%, to me, that seems low if you're looking at it in terms of 100%, but it's twice the state turnout, which means we beat the state 2-1. So I think, whether KAAC has a team or not, I mean, like I know I have my personal team, but I think maybe it's being strategic. I'm going to repeat myself. Yeah, being strategic about who we put on the team and understanding that if we have 20 people who have a voter score of zero and 18 of those 20 people vote, that is a huge success because those people were not going to vote. Like history shows that they were not going to vote unless we reached out to them. That's my thought.
Thank you for that perspective and that strategy, Stacy. Anyone else? Okay, so Wendell, you need something specific from us right now to determine next steps. What is the deadline to determine if sounds like we're moving forward. It sounds like I hear that.
Yes, I think that'll be now a conversation with me and my supervisors with how we want to go about slash address the well, not address, but like just I guess answer the concerns and how we want to be more strategic about it. I appreciate everyone sharing their thoughts, and I'm gonna put in the chat here a couple of links. The first one is the RSVP to the postcard writing. It's the like leading the postcard writing because the idea is that we send out the postage to team leaders and then they get their ambassadors together and people just write postcards with those. And then the bottom link is the actual like request form. If you're unable to make the meeting, you can still like, hopefully have some time to write those write the mail because people don't really get mail a lot. And the mail that they do get maybe around this time of year is like pushing candidates. And so we thought that was super, super creative way to kind of engage team leaders with their ambassadors. And so yeah, I'll take it up with the people. Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you, Wendell. Okay. We will now move forward to our executive director update.
All right. I'm going to pause with all of the drilling on my head. So hopefully you guys can hear me. The budget update, I sent out the budget the way it states right now. The one thing I would say is that there are a lot of things that have not been paid yet, mostly dealing with the upcoming Wichita town hall. And the numbers were possibly going to change because we've renegotiated some of the costs. So the budget sheet is accurate for everything that was from Junction City because all of those invoices have been paid. But the numbers that reflect the Wichita situation are sort of still in flux and nothing's been paid yet. So that's the budget update. I also sent out an update, the correspondence between myself and Lazone Gray about his proposal. The commission had decided to send back a response indicating that we were not able to take up his proposal the way it was. That was the attachment of the email exchange. Lastly, at the last meeting, the commission voted to purchase tickets to the Brown v. Board event, their celebration that's coming up this coming weekend. And I mailed you guys your tickets. So are you getting, did anyone receive them? I see Dr. Crystal is nodding. So I mailed you your tickets. If you did not receive your tickets, let me know. I think I have an electronic copy of them. And so I wasn't sure if I could sometimes when you get an electronic copy, you can't forward stuff. So I'm like, well, let me print these and mail them. If that didn't work, I still have an electronic copy. Push come to shove, I can contact them and say, hey, listen, I ordered all these things. I have the copies. We'll figure it out. But if I mailed you guys a copy, so if you get it, then that would be the best. And the last little update is, as of right now, with the Kansas Leadership Grant spots, we have used all of our Everyone Leads. The first class, we've used up all of our spots. The link is still live because we still have 2 spots open for your Leadership Edge. And I am not pushing it anymore because there are some people who have the code who potentially might have taken the first class and still might take the second. So I'm still letting everything just sort of breathe for a second because we only have 2 spots left. And I remember the reason that I'm sort of remaining tight control over this is because if we get over, KAAAC gets charged. And I'm trying not to have KAAAC get charged if for any overage. There is no way to automatically shut off the link. So it's not like if it hits 20, it goes off on its own. The grant control person has indicated that they have to manually turn it off. So I have to say, hey, turn this off. I have not turned it off because we still have those 2 spots left open in the second one. And the reason why we even got to 20 is I went back through and looked at everyone who I'd sent the code to, everyone who had signed up, and contacted people specifically and said, are you going to use the code? And some people indicated that they weren't. And so I went down the list and said, hey, here's the thing, you need to sign up. You need to sign up quickly because I'm still like doing the math of who's got the code, who's not going to use the code, who's rescheduling their classes. So there's a little bit of, it's not a lot, but a little bit of just paying attention to who has the code and encouraging people to actually use the code. So I'm just waiting for those last 2 spots to get settled. And then the last little news is that, yes, we do have a new appointment, Commissioner Reverend Ricky Bragg. He lives in the Wyandotte County area, and he officially begins on July 1st. So that's it for me.
Stacy, I do have a question with the Kansas Leadership Grant. I know there's an upcoming event that's coming, and there's been some communications for some commissioners maybe going. I'm not sure where we landed with that. I would love to be a part of the gathering for the Kansas Leadership Center grant, transformation grant recipients that's happening. I'm traveling at that time. But can you share what that is and the update on who's going to be attending that?
As a part of the grant, and as a part of my responsibilities as the grant administrator, there are several meetings that grant administrators are required to attend. And that is one of them that grant administrators are required to attend. There's been a monthly call that I've been required to attend. And for this, they said, I had to agree to attend this thing in order to get the grant. But they said for each organization that gets the grant, they can bring up to 3 people. So it's not a situation where the entire commission can go because we're only allowed 3 spots. So that's why I reached out to chair and vice chair first. I'm like, you guys, the chair and the vice chair. And so you just recently said that you were unable to go. So at this point, we could ask another person, but I don't have the space to take the entire commission. We're only allotted 3 spots. And I am like, they really impressed upon it that this is a requirement. Like, this is not me like, oh, I think this is a good idea, I want to go. They're like, no, if you get this grant, you have to go. And if you don't attend, it will hurt your chances of getting the grant in the future. So I'm like, I will be there. But I'm not required to bring 3 people, but we have the opportunity to bring 3 people.
Okay. And Commissioner Ramsdale, Vice Chair Ramsdale, you're attending? Okay.
Yeah, I will already be in the area for some training, so I will be attending. I will only be able to attend that one the first day. It looks like the second day it's optional, but
Yes.
definitely will be there for that first day.
Okay. Well, I am really glad that there's someone else that can join with Stacy. I know for the trainings, Commissioner Crystal Davis and I were able to do it together. So that was really helpful to have someone from the commission of the commission there to be able to share thoughts, ideas, how what we heard resonated with what, we're the work we're doing here. Um, Wish that I could join you all too. But again, I had that conflict, but looking forward to hearing the feedback on how it goes. Okay. Moving on to old business. And as we go into old business, I'll just share a reminder because it looks like all of the old business pertains to this, that as a commission, we voted to move forward with during the spring. We said that we would all host town halls. And the purpose and the importance of us doing that is that we wanted to be able to get feedback from the community, directly from the community, on how we shape and frame our work and our areas of focus moving forward as we begin 2026, 2027. And again, as a part of that, we all decided collectively that we would host town halls in each of our congressional districts. So we'll start off with getting an update from the our trendsetter here, Dr. Crystal Davis, Commissioner Crystal Davis, who kicked us all off. Kudos to being the first one out the gate. And would love to hear an update on how things went for you.
Well, that thank you so much, Chair Johnson. It was fun planning it. I want to give a shout out to Executive Director Stacy Nell for really helping me to navigate that conversations, texts, emails, all the things. And I think and Alvaro, first of all, before I go any further, Alvaro, thank you so much. When you just spend so much time making sure everything, including tech, is perfect, you practice, you meet there before, you run through it, everything's fine. Then the next day, it all falls apart. But my friend Alvaro came to the rescue. OMG, saved everything. I could breathe. We moved forward. I think we just had maybe a 10-minute, 15-minute lap, but people were able to get coffee and cupcakes and charcuterie bowls, cups, and so they were able to eat that, and we got started. So thank you, Alvaro, so much. And so yeah, I think we learned a lot. The feedback for me personally, just around town and at church and different NAACP meeting and the other places I have been, was very good feedback. Citizens were grateful that we were able to have this event in Junction City. We had commissioners attend. I've heard from some of our city leaders that some of it was slightly difficult to hear, right? But that's what town halls are about, is to listen and hear what some of the concerns are about citizens in the community. Now, I've been tapped for a few more things since then. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, in the community, a couple of other things that are happening that now I am receiving direct texts and messages from the mayor specifically on engagement on things. Not that I wouldn't have attended, but things that were slightly out of my purview. But I'm like, okay, that sounds like something I might be interested in. For example, they're getting ready to do a day and a half workshop on uh, outdoor wildlife and recreational things to do in Junction City, Gary County. And they want more representation than what they have currently signed up for the workshop. And so I think Black Kansans also enjoy outdoor recreational things at Milford Lake and all of the things that we offer in this area. So it's one example of creating that visibility of KAAC so that folks in town, politicians, and others can say, oh, okay, let's look to them for, questions, more visibility, more support on things maybe that otherwise we may not have been invited to. So I think that's also another good thing that's happened as a result of the town hall. And I've been sharing out the email reports that Executive Director Nail has shared. We also talked a bit and wrote some things on a napkin, Executive Director Nail and I, at the Kansas Health Summit in Olathe, a couple weeks ago. So I'm really interested and excited to delve deeper into the research and feedback that we got personally. And then secondly, after the Wichita Town Hall, and, moving forward this summer or whatnot, how we take that information and design, which I'm excited about, honestly, the Black Legislative Days for next year. So the things we've done now, what we take, what we observe, I will be moving my son into his new apartment, so won't be able to be with Chair Johnson, but excited, right, for the information, more survey results and what we'll get. And then Stacy's kind of been thinking and reflecting on how that's going to, I think, refine and reframe our legislative days. And I'm kind of excited about how that's going to outpicture. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. 45 people in the room. We had some really good issues, and I think in the days since then, I've gotten a lot more feedback from specifically from the veterans in Junction City. And you all may know we 65% retired military in this town, so it matters in terms of those military soldiers who are about to retire, and then those that are already retired and have make Junction City, Gary County their home. And they are super excited about it. Listen, when Stacy says we can get on the Senate floor, the House floor, we can talk about veteran stuff. We're gonna call our people, we're gonna round up, and we'll be in Topeka. So I've heard that like 3 times. So I know that the veterans are very interested that someone, us, heard some of their concerns, and they ready to call the troops when and what we can do to help support that. Even just that visibility or them being in Topeka for them is moving the needle. So thank you all for that. I've loved these. If we had the money, we could do them every year. But I do think that our next work, as Chair Johnson mentioned to us just a moment ago, that this information can also inform the Black Kansas report, right? So nothing's fragmented here, I don't think. I think all of this work can lead to other things and scaffold the work that we're doing. So thank you.
Again, thank you, Commissioner Davis, for kicking us off. And I had the opportunity to be able to be present for Commissioner Davis's town hall. So I was able to see Alvaro in action. Kudos to you again, Alvaro. Thank you. And to see the responsiveness from the community that was present. And again, thank you for kicking us off. So we are now gearing up for Wichita's town hall. Our last meeting, I was still finalizing the date. The date has now been finalized. We're the Wichita town hall. In respect and honor to what we said, we said we want to have them done before spring. So I was like, I got to do it in May. So the 23rd, discovered during this call, wait, that's the holiday weekend, not a good weekend. So we will be doing ours on the 30th. It is set and scheduled. It will be hosted by, I'm partnering with the city of Wichita, who's offering space to us to move this forward. Our town hall is a twofold event, the way it's framed here, where it is the town hall, but it's also a community resource fair as well. That's has a life of its own too. But excited to be able to bring partners and resources to the conversation, to the community, and in turn to the conversation that we'll have on Saturday, May 30th. Alvaro, you are welcome. Open invitation to come to Wichita. Not sure if you've been down here before, but would love to have you join us down here as well as if you are able. Stacy will be joining us. We have representation from our legislators that will be joining us, and also from our city, county, state, and invites to federal space. Because a part of our town hall is going to be a conversation tapping into what's unique here. There's been a lot of conversation about confusion and unclarity about the different roles of government. So we're going to have a presentation that's going to talk about that, as well as Wendell will be joining us to give a presentation about the border network and some specific races here in this area to also help inform. And then we'll have our community town hall and survey distribution as well. Wanted to encourage everyone to be pushing out the link to the survey. It is online on social media, even if and that's live. It's not just limited to the town hall. It's for the general public. So please push that out and encourage others to sign up. I haven't looked lately to see where responses are coming from, but last looked, of course, the majority of the responses were from Commissioner Davis's event, but we can continue to push that out real time continuously to get that data. That is the plan for Wichita. You all are invited and welcome to come and join. It was happy to be able to support Commissioner Crystal Davis, and it was great just to have that additional representation in the room. I am believing, so I would be open and appreciative if anyone's available to come and join me here in Wichita to do so, and I will try to have a presence at you all's as you all have yours as well. Okay, let's move to Congressional District 1 and Commissioner Trent Davis and the status of your town hall.
Yes. So I'm one-handed. I realize I got the mouse on the wrong side of the laptop here. Uh, in Salina, we are going to have a town hall on June 6th. We didn't meet the May 31st deadline, but looking at weekends and holidays and just knowing folks' activities here, nothing in May looked good that we wouldn't have had to rush through and put together in a hot second. I'm planning for a two-way meeting. One to certainly gather concerns from citizens that they want it pushed up to Topeka, but also to disseminate information on the election on the proposed constitutional amendment. My sense is that there's a lot of apathy about this election, or lack of information. And it just seems like one of those things that could very easily just get pushed right through. And, if that's the people's will, that's the people's will. But I have a feeling there's a lot of, can't say misinformation, there's a lot of no information or education about it. So there will be speakers explaining the significance of the proposed amendment, and also to try to raise those concerns that would help frame maybe what our efforts should be over the next year. We're going to tag it to a pancake feed that the NACP had already planned to do that weekend. Getting people out on a Saturday morning is sometimes risky business, and food seemed to be the best lead. So we'll hope that works. We're going to start ours a little early. I think folks here in Salina, if you let too much of a Saturday get going, they will be someplace else. So I will find out tomorrow morning the exact official time, but I'm thinking 10 o'clock would be as late as we might want to go. If it was winter time, we could do it probably anytime, but there's too much other stuff to do on a Saturday here to wait until 12 noon. Our audience will be somewhere already. What time did the junction say? I saw the agenda started at 11, I believe.
Yes, 11.
All right.
One.
Was that too early or too late for a lot of people, or it seemed to be just about right?
Seemed to be just about right, I think. But I also think 10 a.m. is good, Dr. Trent, because people can get out in the morning and get it done. Of course, have the pancakes. I'm looking forward to joining yours, and I'll send you an email offline. There's a person in Salina who would love to attend, and I'd love to tell you more about Megan Rico at the health department there and the relationship we've kind of built. So interested in sending her information your way too.
So I was thinking of folks to invite, and I hadn't thought about the county health department. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah, she follows us quite extensively, us as in KAAC.
Right. What type of local advertising did you do in Junction?
Yeah, so we did a press release that was on social media on our local newspaper, the JC Post
Mm-hmm.
.com, and of course social media, and then we had a radio slot, that we didn't really plan for or pay for, but was taken and announced on the radio. So we thought that was pretty cool. Free of charge. Yeah.
Right.
Then I sent emails, Commissioner Trent Davis. I did phone calls. I did text. So a variety of things. I attended. This is the good thing that I, intentionally did was, and maybe Chair Johnson might have done some. I know she has a really wide influence in Wichita, but I attended our commission meeting, the Junction City Commission meeting, and they have a slot where you can do a presentation, or as
Mhm.
like we have a guest attend the meeting, or community member as they call it, and you have 5 minutes to present. So I just did a little packet of the flyer, our CAC brief report, and then what our intentions was around that, and then just presented that for all 6 of the commissioners and spoke for about 5 minutes about our intention. I had sent them an email prior to that, so they already knew I was coming. But then it was recorded, it was official, like it was on their commission. And then I also sent emails to our county commissioners. So
Excellent.
just a couple of ways to get it out there and to show my face and make personal invites.
Thank you for those tips.
And also, Commissioner Trent Davis, Commissioner Crystal Davis really paved the way for us as a collective with her work for her town hall. She has a template for an agenda, even a board, welcome board, phone board that I took the same idea to have printed here to welcome people in. Um, a sample of a press release. She has lots of resources that can be that she's offered. If I could speaking on behalf of Crystal Davis, Dr. Crystal Davis, what she has offered to assist and support us all in moving forward. So I share that to say you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Please do reach out to us as you're planning, and we can support. I know I had to I had to put some of the documents into a different form to help them to be editable for me to put in information. So I have that version of it that could be shared with you, but just let us know how we can support. I would have loved to have been there, but I'm again traveling at that time, so I will not be able to be present. I'm glad to hear that Commissioner Crystal Davis can join you. Okay.
Please start sending those emails with examples.
Okay. And I know I tried to reach out to you this week too to be able to touch base with you on this. So we need to connect and let me know what you need. Okay, now thank you for our currently sitting commissioners in our districts of, let's see, that's 2, 1, and 4. There is a District 1, no, District 3, that we do not currently have anyone appointed that resides in, but that doesn't mean it doesn't get a town hall. I would still like us to try to coordinate and collaborate to try to still host a town hall. Though we don't have a city commissioner, that is still a part of the commission's footprint. And I know we do have an incoming commissioner, but as last I heard, we weren't positive if he lands on the District 3 side or not. But either way, we can still work our resources, our connections to still try to host something, to have a conversation, to not leave that part of the state. And highly populated by members of our population, part of the state, out of this opportunity to help inform. So I want to drop that as a consideration as well. Again, I know Commissioner Ramsdale is, I think, the closest of us to that part of the state. So I will do a direct reach out to her to see if perhaps she can help in maybe leading what that can look like. And she may have some connections and relationships to help move that forward and find that out. But I also know, Stacy, that's close, that's your area too. So if you can work with us and help us on determining what we can offer in that part of the state, in lieu of not having anyone appointed yet representing that part of the state, but still wanting to ensure that they're not included as we're moving forward in this effort. If we can work on that within this next month. Any other thoughts, questions, perspectives on old business? Okay, chair update. So I made mention maybe a month or so back, maybe a couple months back, that I had been in communication with representatives from JP Morgan Chase Bank, who is in the process of expanding into the state of Kansas, their market into the state of Kansas, and are looking at ways to connect and engage through some community engagement opportunities. And had we've had discussions about possibly partnering with KAAC for our efforts in economic development, specifically around financial literacy within our community. And where we last left off at is they were still vetting whether or not they would be able to partner with KAAC. We're not an official we're not a nonprofit, we're government. And that's not typically who they typically partner with nonprofits. They needed to do some internal due diligence to determine if they could partner to be able to see what sorts of services, what sorts of education, what sorts of programming they may be able to partner with us on. Receive feedback back that they do have a release to be able to partner with us and are looking to be able to connect with us during the month of June or July. So I will be back in touch, and what I am going to ask if they can do a presentation just highlighting more of what they are looking to do with regards to their financial education, literacy, and programming, what that could look like, so that we can have a deeper conversation on if we would be interested in partnering with them to be able to offer those services throughout our communities. And what they shared is what they offer is both in a virtual and an in-person format. So locations throughout the state where they have a Chase branch. I know here in Wichita, they just entered our market maybe 2 years ago, and have two locations here with a third one scheduled to open as well. I'm not sure where else they have already landed, but they'll do in person in spaces where they have footprints. They'll do virtual otherwise. So more details on that will be forthcoming, but wanted to share that update with my fellow commissioners. Announcements. Stacy has already shared tickets are in the mail for the Brown v. Board anniversary celebration, which takes place this Sunday. So I believe, Stacy, are all of us going? Is Commissioner Ramsdale? I know Commissioner Davis, both Commissioner Davises we're going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Yes, I mean that was I went back and watched that meeting a couple times. So yes, everyone apparently is going.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I look forward to seeing you all live and in person in a few days.
As it
May
turns
I?
out, I will not be able to attend because I have a family graduation that I didn't know about. So I believe Alvaro is going to use my ticket. So
Well, look at that. Well, we get to hang out with Alvaro too.
I might also have to correct the record because I completely blanked on my younger brother's high school graduation, and I might have to go to Salina for that this weekend. So we'll see, because my partner, my significant other, also graduates with her master's degree, and just a bunch of graduations to kind of balance. So I'm excited for that, but we'll see if I'm able to make it for the Brown v. Board celebration, as I had been looking forward to some uh monumental event such as that.
Well, thank you. And 'tis the season with that. So, well, I look forward to seeing though all of whom who will be able to be present. Looking forward to um, a very informative event on Sunday. And kudos and congratulations to all of the graduations amongst the midst of our commission members and staff. Congratulations to all of your children, your significant others, your family members and friends. And I'm preparing for a celebration tonight here, not for me, but for someone close to me. So, all right. Again, the Wichita Town Hall will be happening on Saturday the 30th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. is going to be our community resource fair, and then we'll transition from 11 to 1 to our community town hall. Is there anything else for the good of the body?
Not an announcement. I just want to make a quick comment. I thank you all for your hard work and preparing these town halls. It's definitely a big one of my whys. So I appreciate all of you and your work and that. And yeah, I look forward to going to the Wichita Town Hall, and also uh visiting with Dr. Trent Davis in Salina, being that's where I grew up. So that would be a good coming home.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
Chair Johnson, How are you merging those two events? Do you have a hard cutoff for one and the beginning of the other, or
This was my logic. Um, you can get the community to come out for resource fairs and things like that. It's hard to get the broader community to come out for a town hall.
right?
So it's a CAC sponsored community resource fair that starts off, and the idea is it's going to draw people in. The event takes place at a community center that already has programming activity as well happening at the same time. Um, and then it is going to be the fun job of transitioning people into the conversation from directly across the hall. And I'm going to have my resource vendors help in that process of ushering people from their tables into the town hall. But it's going to be fun. So, all right. So unless there's anything else, is there a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting?
Hang on a second, because when Jade and I noted what time she left, I don't know if we like this notion of we lost quorum at 10 a.m.
Oh,
So I don't know, like, I mean, at this point, there is no motion because we don't have a quorum.
yeah, exactly. Thank you for that reminder, Stacey. Well, with that, thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Safe travels for those traveling into, everybody's traveling into Topeka. Okay, safe travels, everyone. See you Sunday for those who will be there. Take care.
Have a good weekend, everyone.